Hello, welcome to the first video in the Useable Linux series. The purpose of this series is to install a Linux version that works fully. We're trying to avoid the usual pitfalls of installing Linux. Pitfalls such as maybe things that don't work properly. Maybe people have used Linux before and have found that it's not really lived up to their expectations. Here, hopefully we can get round those issues and actually get a Linux system that works. So let's get started with this. Now, as you can see on the screen here, the version of Linux we're going to be using is Mandriva Linux, or I guess there's different ways of pronouncing that. I say Mandriva. I've never actually heard anyone else say it, so I don't know, maybe there's a proper pronunciation, but I'll stick with Mandriva until I'm corrected one way or the other. Now, I can hear certain people saying, well, why Mandriva? Ubuntu might be the biggest Linux distribution out there. Why not use Ubuntu? Well, there's a number of reasons. First of all, it's a personal reason, as that I've been using Mandriva right back to when it was Mandrake Linux. It's now a commercial product, and for that reason it lives up to a very high standard. This is one of the original Linux distributions. When I first started using Linux, I actually started off with Red Hat Linux, which then became Fedora, and I kind of fell out of favor with Red Hat Linux. I switched to Mandrake Linux, which is the predecessor to Mandriva, and I've stuck with it ever since. So that's the reason I trust it. It's easy to use, it's easy to configure, everything just works. So Mandriva Linux it is. For some of the packages we're going to be installing, there are ports available for Ubuntu, but I'm not that comfortable with Ubuntu. If you want Ubuntu, fine, go right ahead with Ubuntu. But you know, you might find that this guide is less usable or useful to you as a result. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is download the distribution. Now, okay, I've got it already installed, and of course I use it at a personal level. This is the only operating system on my computer. I haven't had Windows on my computer for a number of years, possibly 7 or 8 years. I think Windows 98 was the last actual Microsoft version I had on my computer. Once they stopped supporting Windows 98, that was it. I uninstalled it and have never used it since. And I have struggled since then, because there are occasionally video files and stuff like that which you find don't play in Linux, or at least that used to be the case, but now I don't really have problems like that anymore. And that's really the purpose of me making this video, is that I can show you how to get round those problems. So, downloading Mandriva Linux. So, on my web browser, Mandriva defaults the browser setting, incidentally using Mozilla Firefox, it defaults to the Mandriva website. But if you're using a Windows system, the way to get to here is mandriva.com. Okay, and at the very top of the page here, third one along, is downloads. So we'll click on downloads. Now here you can see the different downloads that are available to you. Now PowerPack is, as you can see, buy on Mandriva store. It's it's a purchase package. If you want to buy that, fine. I don't really know much about it. I've never investigated it that much. I don't know what you get for your money, but I don't think you particularly need it. I think you can get everything you need without buying the power pack. Mandriva 1, it says installable live CD. Basically, if you download this image, you burn it onto a CD, and from that CD you can actually load up Linux as a trial version, or you can put it into any PC with a CD drive, and basically it'll run Linux from the CD, so it doesn't affect the operating system that's on the computer already. Again, if you're really just wanting to try it out, that might be an option to you. But the one we're going to be using is the free version here, and the current version is 2010.2. Mandriva update this approximately every 6 months. There's a new version comes out, and it does prompt you, when the new version comes out, it prompts you to upgrade. Now, the basic download here is DVD 32 bits English. If you've got a 32-bit machine, then that's fine, you can get that one. But we're going to take a look at some of the others, and I have a 64-bit machine, so I don't really want this 32-bit. If you don't know whether your machine is a 32-bit or a 64-bit, and you've no way of finding out really, then the safe option is to download the 32-bit one. It will run on a 64-bit machine. Or if you've got a bit of time on your hand, you could download the 64-bit, and if it doesn't work when you run it on your machine, then you know you've got the 32-bit. It will actually tell you that, and so you can go back and download the 32-bit. So for me, I want the 64 bits. Now here, I'm going to, again, we could just click these links and actually download the image. But I want to show you how to check that you've downloaded the correct data, and also the other options are available to you. So I'm going to just change this. I'm in the United Kingdom. I'm going to use the FTP service. FTP is File Transfer Protocol. Above that we've got HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP is basically what you get in a web browser. You look up the top here, HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's for downloading web pages, whereas FTP is more geared at downloading files, File Transfer Protocol. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to reload the page, and that'll update the links here. And again, I just click on this, the 64 bits one, and in it comes, and it says should automatically download in a few seconds. If not, click here, and indeed the image, the box has come up. Now I'm just going to cancel this for the moment, because I did say I wanted to show you what was available to you. So where it says click here, I'm actually going to click the right mouse button. Now clicking the right mouse button is something that people don't do very often, and it's a very useful tool, even in Windows. You get something on a web page or a file manager or something like that. If you right click, you'll usually get a menu coming up like this, with a load of options on it. It's much nicer way than clicking something or selecting something and then going to the menu at the top, when you can actually get the menu directly here. So what I'm going to do here, I've right clicked and I'm going to copy link location. And again, this is just so I can show you. So I'm going to again right click and a menu comes up, and I can paste in directly to here. So it's put in here the whole link right up to the file that we're downloading. But I want to show you all of the files that are in this directory. So I'm going to take out right back to 2012, 2010.2, and the / right back to here. And I'll just press enter to bring that up. And there you can see all the files that are available in this directory. This is the beauty of FTP, is you can actually do directory listings on remote servers. So The file that we were going to download was actually this one, Mandriva Linux Free 2010-2, and it's the x86 64-bit architecture file that we're going to download. Now, one thing I haven't covered here is if you're used to using Ubuntu or similar systems like that, you'll know that they have the GNOME desktop. Now, if you don't have a DVD drive, then you would need to download a CD file, and all of these right down at the bottom of the page are CD files, and we've got the KDE desktop at the bottom and the GNOME the desktop up at the top. I use the KDE desktop, but Ubuntu users will be used to using the GNOME desktop, and the difference is the KDE desktop is more of a Windows style desktop. This is the KDE desktop that I'm running now. So it's got the start menu at the bottom left, whereas the GNOME desktop will be more like the Mac operating system. It'll have the start menu up at the top corner and the taskbar along the top. It's entirely your personal choice which you choose. It won't make any difference to how the operating system works. It may look a bit different to you, but you still have the full accessibility using either GNOME or KDE. My use of KDE is a personal preference. It also happens to be the default when you download the DVD and use that for the installation. So, one thing that I want to do is, once we've downloaded the file, I want us to be able to check that we've downloaded the correct data. So, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to download this SHA-1 file. Now it's only 1 kilobit, it will come in almost instantly. There it is there. And what you have here is a key and the file name it references. So this is what we'll use to check that we've downloaded the data and it's come in correctly. It's arrived in the correct form. So I'm just going to save this file, save page as, and it's trying to save it as a text file. I don't want it to be a text file. Let me just click on it, delete, and SHA-1 has come up, save. Now I downloaded this earlier, so I'll just overwrite it. It's the same file. And that's in place, ready for us to use when we come to check the data that we've downloaded. So going back, so I'll just click the back button there, and I'm now going to download the ISO file. Now it says open with ARC. On your operating system it may also try and open it with an application. If the application is a burn file, is a burning program designed for burning CDs and DVDs, then that's fine, but I think it's the safest option to save the file and then open it later. And that of course gives us a chance to check that the data we downloaded is correct. So save file, and you can see here the initial guess is that it'll take 3 hours to download this file. So I'm going to leave you for the time being while that downloads. Once it's come back, I'll show you how to check the data and how to burn the data to the disk. See you later.